Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Tonight we're going to look at conditional code in Spring Boot, and I'm using Kotlin just for fun. I actually got this question in the comments, so that is why I'm taking this one up right now. Then the question was, how do you actually implement a conditional class, and how do you use that with Spring Boot in practice? So an example of how to do that, and that's exactly what we're going to do now. We're going to create a new package right here, and yes, we are playing around with Kotlin and with Spring Boot. The way this project is made is by pressing File, New Project right here. And you'll probably recognize the project from other demonstrations that I've made. It is the Alien project. So here we have Kotlin. I chose Kotlin right here, and then I chose Gradle Kotlin right there again. Then I chose that we use Java 21, and then I pressed next, and I added the web module, Spring Web right here. I also added the Spring Data, the Spring Data JPA module, which is down there, and I also added H2, so we get a database to play around with. Okay. So, but for this demonstration right here, we want to create a service. So we want to have a REST controller. That is our situation. We want to have a REST controller that exposes, that gives us a spaceship, and the spaceship has a gun. It can actually, sometimes it will shoot laser beams. Other times it would use Nerf guns when it's in test mode. And that is the problem that we will want to solve. So we will create a new Kotlin class right here. And this class will be a spaceship controller. This is our REST controller right here. Yes. Add that with REST controller like this. And then we say request mapping as usual. Request mapping. This is the beginning of the mapping right here. And then we say spaceship. Spaceship. So that means that all of our get mappings that we have right here, get mapping, will start with spaceship, and then it will be like shoot or something like that. Yeah, then we have the shoot right here, and then we have our method right here. That is the function when we're dealing with Kotlin. So we say shoot, and then we will have our method right here. This is our function, and here we will return something right here. And what will we return? We'll just return a string. Just like to be explicit, I know we don't have to do this by applying the return types. So what we want to return right now, we want to return something that needs to be implemented, And what we want to do is we want to have a space gone service right here. So that means we will create an interface to begin with. So we will create an interface, and then we will implement it with two different implementations, depending on which profile that we are running with. So that is actually the situation. So sometimes we want to run in a test environment with a test profile, and other times we want to use a production profile. So we're going to create a Kotlin interface right here, and we will name this spaceship gun, or just space gun. Space gun is enough. So this is a space gun right here. It's not a data class, it is an interface I want to do right here. This is our interface, and the interface is implemented like this. We have this one right here, and then we say that we want to have some methods that need to be implemented. That could be a shoot. And then shoot, and we will not create any default implementation on this, and we will not create any. So these need to be implemented right here. We will also create maybe a reload like this. So now we have two functions that we have to implement, and now we will create the class that need to implement that, and we will create the Kotlin class right here. We'll name that laser gun. So we have a laser gun. This laser gun will implement the space gun right here, and this will only be put in the Spring Boot bucket in the Spring Boot context when we have the right profile. So that means we will add profile right here, and then we will say this here we need the laser gun that is only for production use. should not use the profile. We should not use the laser gun when testing, for instance. We don't want to use that there. So then we say laser gun, and now we have to implement the methods right here. We can have IntelliJ to help us with the TGS code right here. So then we say shoot. And these methods right here, of course, they need to return a string. So that was a bit too fast. So let us create, string, return string, Control E to get the last used files back to the laser gun right there. And now we have to return a string, of course, Return a string, have to return a string, and then we say return. We don't need to say return even, we can just say, shooting the laser gun. Be careful. Bzzzt, yes. So that is what we're returning, and here we're returning reload. Yes. Charge the laser cannon. It could be a cannon, but it's a gun. It's a gun. Yes. So charge the laser gun, and then that could be another sound like wobba wobba. That's how that sounds. Okay, so now we have one implementation of this of the space gun right here, and we need the return. That was a bit too fast. So we're returning these strings right here. Yes, and then we will say. Then we will create another implementation, and it's actually just faster to copy this. Copy the laser gun, and that could be a Nerf gun. You know, the ones that shoot these plastic things. And that could be for the test environment. So when we are in test profile, then this class right here will be added, and this is of course a service. We've got to annotate with services. Let us just do that. So I'll go back to my laser gun right there. Service, and when it shoots, now it's not dangerous. Just shooting Nerf pellets. Or I don't know the name for them. Nerf pellet plastic things. Remember to wear glasses. Yes, like that. And then the reload, what could that be? That it will just be a clack sound or something like that. Clack, click, or something like that. Then the reloads. Okay, so now we have two implementations of the interface, right? The space gun. So we have one that will be active when it's the test profile, and another one that will be active when we are dealing with the production environment. This means that in our spaceship controller, we will just inject. We only need to inject, and this can be a construction injection. So let us inject the space gun like this, space gun. So now we have a space gun. So and we will return space gun dot space gun dot this dot space gun. Why can't we get that now? So that's something I am missing. REST controller. This is automatically injected. So we have, this is the default constructor. So we have a space gun right here, right? Space gun. That should be okay. I'm doing something wrong. Let me just check right here. So, okay, yes. I have to declare it as a val right here. Or var. So here we have the val. I forgot this part right here. This means that I'm declaring it as an immutable variable, member variable. It could also be a var, then it will be mutable. But since we are constructor injecting it, then we can just use the immutable part right here. Then we say shoots, return shoots, like this. So that's actually pretty cool. We can also say reload. So now we're also adding reload. Reload, and reload. So this should actually be enough. So that means that now when we start up our application, then we can then choose to, then we should set a profile, either test or either production. So that means that we will go here into our runtime configuration. Then we will say alien test, and then we can create a duplicate of this. So we will say copy, and then we can say this is our test environment like this. And here we will say the environment. Oh, that is actually test. Sorry, let me just go back. I wanted to go to want to find my application right here. Here we have a play button, so I'll just press play right here once. Then I get it's much faster. Then I get a Spring Boot application created right here. And now it can actually not start up because we do not have any default implementation right here. Docker not running. What is that? We should not use Docker. Why are we using Docker? I probably added something weird. Let me just see right here. Built data, Kotlin reflect. To Docker compose. Yes, I don't need that. I don't know why I added that just for fun. But it's no fun when it doesn't work, right? So let us just press play again. It should complain about that that the Spring Boot context right now, since we have not added any profile at all, then we do not need to have the then we don't have any space gun in the context. Let me just refresh once right here, and then we press. I don't have any more Docker, do I? No. I've removed the Docker dependency right now, so that should not be the problem. Let us press play again. So, yes, so now we start up, but we should get that error now. Yes, look what happens here now. So we have this space gun cannot be found, and that's because we do not have an active profile where we have a space gun right now. So, and of course we have to be careful that with conditional classes, then we have to be careful. We are adding on this profile right here. So let us just say that, and of course you can also use the annotation and conditional. I'll show that also. Spring. Because right now we're using profiles, which is the most usual use case actually. But you can also write add conditional on property, and then you will only have it if we actually have that property in our property files. So that's another way of actually doing it. But right now we're just using profiles. The principle is the same. Just look up the annotations for conditional on property instead. But let's just see that this works right here. Active profile. So now I'll say that this is the test. So test, and then instead of the Spring Boot Gradle application, then we'll just say test environment. Start with test environment like this. Apply. And of course, all of this, I know this is Kotlin, but the principles are exactly the same for Java. I just choose Kotlin because then it's a bit more fun for me to make these examples because I'm not playing that much with Kotlin else. So, okay, so now application actually started up. So it actually works now. So now we're in the test environment. And that means that of course, I could create a cool test. But if I write localhost port 8080, and then what was the space, and then what was it else? It was spaceship, it was a spaceship, and then shoot. Look what it says right here, just shooting nerve pellets, plastic thing, remember to wear glasses. Yes, we will. We will definitely do that. And then we can say also reload, click. Yep, that's really good. That's exactly what we would expect. And of course, usually we will create a test just to see this, but this is just a demonstration. It's not a project that I'm going to use for anything. So now I'm going to copy this, edit configurations right here, and then I'm saying duplicate, and then we say start with the production environment like this. And now we change the active profile right here to production instead. And that also means that if we had some property files, then we would get all of the property files enabled, which were named application minus production and application minus tests. So just for fun, or I think it's used most often. Then you would have these files also right here. But of course, you don't have to. You can just leave. You can just have the default application properties. That's enough. But usually, you would have some other properties that would be different when you're running tests. And of course, if you mention this in default, then you don't have to mention it right here. You always have the default profile enabled. Okay, so now we will start our application with production environment. We don't have any extra properties. That's fine now. So, yeah, so now the application started up. Let's go back to the browser. Then we say reload once again. I'll press F5 once again. Look, now we're in production environment. So now it's a laser gun, and we're charging the laser gun. Yum, 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 wobba, wobba, wobba. And when I press refresh and shoot, then it says shooting the laser gun. Be careful. Yes, yes, yes. Very, very awesome. Very, very cool. This was exactly what we expected, of course. And I hope I answered your question. Whoever it was that actually asked about this, it was actually conditional on property. That was actually the video that was placed a question. The question was placed in, but the principles here are exactly the same. Let me just go back to my laser gun right here, because you could add, instead of adding profile right here, then you another ways to add conditional on property. Then you can say conditional like this, and then you could add some condition inside that on some properties. You can say condition on property like this. So that means that now we are looking for some property, and if that is what we expect to be, then this will be part of the Spring Boot context. Spring Boot context is just a bucket. It's just a fine word for a bucket. So whenever some smart person comes up and say, "Hey, what about have you checked the Spring Boot context?" It's just the bucket where it places all of the beans, all of the services, all of the REST controllers in. So do not be afraid of that word. So. Can I create a quick example with conditional on property? I probably can. So let us just try that. So instead of having the profiles, let us say that we remove the profiles right here. Then we need to have a value equal to conditional property. Conditional on property. Because then I will show you a specific example. I will show a very simple example, because then we're going to set some variable in our property files. I'll set as a mic. I'll set that equal to hello, and here we set it to mic equal to. Let us set it to weapon equal to nerf, and then we say weapon equal to laser. So, and then we want to taste on these variables right here, and then we will use those to determine which class should actually be added into the bucket. Boom, boom, boom. So, and then we will just go back, and then we will set the property value right here. That was then weapon, and then we can then say that's actually the value. So we can say name equal to weapon, and then we can say the value right here. That should be laser. So if that is true, then we will get this. That is because it is an array. So then we'll do the same. I'll just copy this line right here, go to my nerf gun. I'll comment out the profile tests, and then I'll say conditional on property. Here we say nerf. And let us try to start up with the test environment. Let's see if it works. Test environment. Weapon nerf. We should only use one of them. Okay. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I just made an error right here. It should be having value. That was the correct name instead. Having value instead of value. So let's just go back. So we have the Nerf gun right here having value. We have the laser one right here. Let me see, having value. So laser and weapon, and this is not an array. Let us just say run again and see if it works better this time. So now we're running with the test profile. That means that this value right here, it should be nerf. So let's go back and see when we try to shoot, what does it say? Oh, just shooting nerf pellets, plastic things. Remember to wear glasses. It works. I'm very happy. Click, click, click. Okay, that's good. So let us try to stop this, and then we will start our production profile. With our production profile inside our property file, we have weapon laser. So we should now get the laser implementation. Charge the laser gun, yum, wobber, wobber, wobber. Again, refresh. Shooting the laser gun, be careful. Bzzz. The cool thing about these whisk controllers, they're much more visible. It's much better to visualize the result than unit tests when you are creating a demonstration. So if you're creating some kind of demo, I'll definitely recommend you to use REST controllers, because it just shows a bit. It just shows a bit off when you can show something in a browser. I don't know why. Or I know why. It's because it just looks cooler. So that was actually all for me tonight. I will push this. I'll push this repository to my GitHub account as usual, and you can just find it there. It is a public repository. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much for all of your comments. Have a great evening, and have fun coding with Spring Boot, Kotlin, and Java, and whatever other languages you're using. Programming is fun. Bye bye.